I kind of left school at 16. I wasn't very successful at school because I suffered from a degree of dyslexia.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't really fit into the kind of established
That's hard.
education establishment.
I'm Jamie O'Kane, CPA, Small Business Advanced Tax Planning and Compliance Extraordinaire, and this is the Abundant Beans Podcast, the podcast that takes my love for learning what makes people tick while digging into the good, bad, and ugly of small business ownership. We strive to give you the insight that only those in the trenches of being and working with entrepreneurs can provide. Today, I'd like to welcome to the podcast Jonathan Denwood. Jonathan is a leading influencer in the WordPress space with his own leading podcast in the eLearning entrepreneurship WordPress area, which is WordPress Tonic, which I was on last week, which was really fun, and a champion of the eLearning entrepreneur who wants to build a substantial online business. Many people who have great experience with a lot of knowledge to share in their field get caught up with the choosing and implementing the technology to publish their first course. Jonathan can really help in getting people to get over their hurdle so that they can really concentrate on marketing their course to its targeted audience. Welcome.
All right, fantastic being on your show, Jamie.
Yeah,
Thank you for the invite.
I have so many questions about your e-learning platforms. But first, what was your first job?
My first job, it was in retailing. It was helping out in the dry cleaning business.
Oh, wow. What were you doing? How old were you?
Oh, I was about 16. Yeah, 16. My father was in dry cleaning, but he had sold his business a couple of years before. And I was just helping a friend of my father in their dry cleaning business. So I was just learning the ropes, basically.
That's crazy. So you didn't want to go into the dry cleaning business?
I did in the end, yes.
Oh, did you?
Yes, in my early 20s.
Oh, wow. So give us a quick synopsis about your career journey.
Well, I kind of left school at 16. I wasn't very successful at school because I suffered from a degree of dyslexia. So I didn't really fit into the kind of established
That's hard.
education establishment. So I left at 16 and I just had a number of casual jobs. And then I kind of saved up a little bit of money because I was still living with my parents. And my father agreed he would help me buy a dry cleaning business.
Oh, wow.
And with the money I saved and the money that he was prepared to be a guarantor of a loan, we found a kind of rundown dry cleaning business that we thought had some possibility of being a reasonable business. So I bought it, and then over about 20 years, I built that business up, and that ended up with a kind of centralized unit with about 5 satellite stores.
Oh, wow. Was that here or in the UK?
That was in the UK.
You still have the stores?
No, I sold it when I came to America.
And then, so how did you get into building WordPress sites and then also e-learning?
I wanted to get a degree as a mature student. I was the only person at that time in my family that would probably get a degree, that had a degree. And I got into computers around, I'm just thinking back, around 95, 94, when the internet was just starting to grow in the UK. And I was intrigued. I had a friend that said, "Oh, this internet thing's going to be big, you know."
I love that. This internet thing's going to be big.
It's going to be big.
It's going to be
big. And I said, "Oh, it might be, it might not." But I was intrigued by. I was thinking of the first. It was Yahoo. Yeah, Yahoo was one of the first search engine. It was a glorified directory, actually. And, you know, I think there was only about 1,000, when I got into it, there was only about 1,000 websites in the world in total. So I got, and then one of my universities, my local university that was very close to my main business was offering a multimedia degree, and basically what that was like, it was like Visual Basic with a lot of multimedia director, and multimedia used to own Dreamweaver, Fireworks, a number of. It was a competitor to Adobe.
Oh yeah.
Until Adobe bought them. And what their original product was Director, and what Director was, it was enabled you to build applications which then you could put on CDs. And then, so I'm really aging myself now.
I have had experience with all of those. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And you're bringing it all up. I was like 15 at the time.
So I did it as a full-time student, because in the UK a full-time degree takes 3 years, and it was right next door to my main business. So I was running quite a busy business, plus doing this full-time degree. Because in England, if you do it part-time, it would take about 5 years. And I didn't want to spend 5 years doing a degree. And which was okay until like the middle of the second year, and then the workload got, and then they found out I was running a business as well, so I got a bit of a ticking off about that. They weren't too happy, but they still allowed me to finish the degree.
That's awesome. So you're a WordPress person. So you build websites on. Do you still build websites on WordPress, or is that not something you do anymore?
I tinkle a little bit. I got some of the smaller projects. I might have a go at just to keep my hand in. But we have a small team now. I have a couple of dedicated developers, a really good graphic designer, and I've got a really great project manager that helps me out if we've got multiple projects.
Do you guys have a niche that you work in?
Well, it is the learning area. It's helping people that want to use learning management systems, which are systems that are control membership sites and give you more features and more organization. What a membership plugin does, it just secures certain areas of a WordPress site to a certain membership level, where a learning management system is designed to facilitate the actual learning of information.
How did you get started in course creation for eLearning?
I had one client. I was a freelancer working for a couple established digital agencies, and also taking on my own private clients, but I didn't specialize in any one area. And then I had a client approach me that actually wanted to build an online course and online business, and it was a really fantastic project. I really enjoyed it, so I thought, why not try and specialize in that particular area? And that was about 3 years ago, and it's been a great decision, really.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has a course. I feel like
everybody has a course in them.
So what are some of the keys to building a successful online course?
I think one of the keys is for your first course, don't get over ambitious, and don't think that the value proposition is that you should build an enormous course. A lot of people think to establish value, the way they're going to do that is, like, I call it a war and peace course. It's going to be like 30 lessons, it's going to be like 10 hours long. That really is a lot of investment in time and energy and money, even if you did everything on your own. And for your first course to do something on your own that size is a bit over ambitious and really totally unnecessary, because you really you learn from your first group of students.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even if you know the area where you're going to teach quite extensively, and let's say you do a pre-launch exercise and you have a small batch, nothing can really be the same as taking your first batch of paying students and take them through the first irritations going first
Iteration.
yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Of the course, because you learn so much from your first batch of students.
And you learn what they want, right? So you can say, hey, I'm going to teach somebody about this, and you can build a small course around it, and people can be like, yeah, but I also wanted this and that and the other thing more.
Exactly.
Like,
you learn so much from that first course. And that first course, if it's successful and then you look at building it out or replacing it with a much more in-depth course, that first course can be turned into a lead generator. I can become a low price or a free course that you can utilize in your marketing. So I would say that's the first thing that a lot of people, they overcomplicate things, and they look at getting it all done in once and build this mega course.
Right. I think it's hard once you get started because you're like, oh, but then people want this, and people are going to want to know this, and people are going to want to know this. So, so your first key is to pick something small, or do a small course, and then talk to us about platforms, or what some of the biggest pitfalls are in creating a course, your first course especially, other than making it too big.
I think WordPress is now over 33% of the internet, and it's rapidly going to become 35 to 36 by the end of this year.
Wow.
It has like a number of learning management plugins and other plugins really aimed at helping the entrepreneur building a successful e-learning course environment. Then you've got some SaaS competitors, a number of them aimed at the individual to like coach, aimed at the individual. And then there's others aimed at large organizations. But what you got to remember is a lot of them also market themselves by saying that they're all integrated, and they offer a simple way of setting up. I've used most of these SaaS products, and the more feature-rich ones are not easy to set up, because there's a lot of bells and whistles, and also you come against what I call the buying the 10-speed racer or the free-wheel tricycle. When your child wants their first bicycle, do you buy them a free-wheeler which they're gonna be able to ride pretty rapidly, but after 6 months to a year, you're going to have to buy them a better bike,
and a 2-wheel bike?
Or do you buy them a 10 speeder?
Yeah.
And they're going to fall off a few times and might scrape their knee.
Yeah.
But they'll be able to ride that for about 4 to 5 years until they want another bike.
Until they outgrow it, right?
So it's the same. It's the same in e-learning. Are you going to buy a free-wheeler that will probably get you started quite quick, but you're rapidly going to outgrow it? Or do you jump on with something like WordPress, which is a little bit more complicated, but you'd probably be able to stay on that platform from to build your whole business on?
So I know that there's a bunch of people that have really good content and they refuse, or like they're scared to give people that content. How do you help, or do you help people get over that?
Well, you got to make your mind up. Are
Oh,
you
all
going
right.
to, are you going to attempt to share it, or plagiarism is a concern.
Mm-hmm.
There have been times where courses have been totally plagiarized.
Mm-hmm.
Other times you find people have either done video screenshots of your courses,
Mm-hmm.
and you find them on the internet. Um, it's dependent on the degree. If somebody's absolutely copied all your content and your
Mm-hmm.
website,
Mm-hmm.
and they're based in the US, obviously, I wouldn't suggest this for your small course.
Right.
But after you've established yourself and you've got your first batch, to copyright your content is
Mm-hmm.
important. And I would suggest that you find a good branding copyright lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
and it will protect you in the US. Obviously, if those individuals are based outside the US, there is very little you can, and their hosting provider is also based outside the US.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be very little in
Mm-hmm.
reality that you're going to be able to do about that plagiarism.
Mm-hmm.
But if they are based in the US, or they're using a US based hosting provider, most hosting providers, if there's been a breach of copyright,
Mm-hmm.
they will take that site down.
I do know people that are, they're afraid to give away their knowledge though. But do you find that people tend to, that are creating courses, they want to give away their knowledge so that they can be seen as an expert?
Well, it's the other way of building your brand, your
Mm-hmm.
individual brand. If that's what the exercise, part of the exercise of the business, is an excellent way of building your authority in a particular sector.
Mm-hmm.
So I know a number of people. I had one, I forgot his name unfortunately, but he came on a show about 6-7 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
and he built his brand on Google AdWords basically.
That's it.
And he
Just
went,
one topic.
he produced one of the most popular series of training videos on Udemy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a great fan of basing your business on Udemy, because
Mm-hmm.
they control the price and
Mm-hmm.
everything. But he used it, and he got over, I think he almost sold over 200,000 subscribers. But it also led to him getting a number of very lucrative contracts with some leading companies,
Oh, wow.
because he was seen as an expert. Because a lot of people, there's a lot to a successful Google AdWord campaign, and a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people want to learn it, but soon realise that the investment in time and energy, they don't want to do it. But who are they going to approach initially? Well, they're going to approach the person that developed that course, aren't they? Really, aren't they?
Yeah. So what are the topics? Do you have, any insight on like what topics are most needed right now?
Oh, that's no, I can't, because the breadth of different courses, for music, for teaching
Mm-hmm.
guitar,
Mm-hmm.
video editing, medical, internal medical training.
Wow.
I've done some where it's in the medical field. It's in areas where I could hardly pronounce the actual subject alone. The breadth of how online training and e-learning, online learning. I have an established client that trains judges in the US, and they provide a lot of online training to judges. So you would never think judges, but that, the breadth of different areas and different niches is amazing, Jamie.
I know. I just, the collective knowledge that we have, the knowledge that we have around, whatever our expertise is, but also other things. And the ability that we can access all of that now is just so cool to me. Like if my kids, like my daughter right now is all into block coding. So she'll go onto this website and she'll code things like circles and stuff. And I'm just like, like people put together this stuff and now kids can learn this stuff, which is even cooler to me. There's so many options for learning. And I love to learn. So it's just been really cool to have so many, the world is our oyster on our knowledge, which is really cool. Let's see. I think that's about all I had for you today. So before I ask you my last question, what is the easiest way for people to find you?
Well, go to the WP Tonic website. That's wp-tonic.com. We got a load of resources. We got a lot of interviews from various people that are either building successful businesses themselves or experts in particular fields that can help you build your online business, make it more successful. We're up to almost 480 of those type of interviews and roundtables. Also, we've got a load of articles on the website that provide really great information for anybody that's looking to build an online course. It's a great resource. You can go to the website and download our planning document that really gives you a 4-page, really easy to follow about all the things you need to get enrolled to build your first online course.
I love checklists.
It's a checklist.
It's a checklist.
And it's a great downloading. Or if you want us, either we've got DIY product, or if you want us to build out the whole thing for you. So we offer a lot of options.
That's awesome. So final question, what is the first thing someone who wants to build an online course should do? Other than download your checklist.
Yeah. Is there a real need, a want for what I've got to offer? And the good news is that a lot of people just go into the mechanics, the technology, and also how I'm going to produce this. And what you really need to do is there's loads of Facebook groups. There must be a Facebook group for almost any subject.
Right.
And also seeing what other courses are about. Don't get entrapped by the volume. We've covered that. It's more about have I got some view, some way of teaching, some outlook that can offer a solution to a particular problem. And is there audience out there? Does that problem exist in their own minds? You got to through like Facebook groups and that, really make sure that the problem you think people have, they really do have. And then have you got a solution? And if you do that bit of homework, and it doesn't have to take months, we're talking about like 6 weeks to 2 months of joining various Facebook groups, answering not bulldozing oneself in it, but being helpful in those groups, and then start asking your own questions. And you can be frank, saying, I'm thinking of starting a course. These are the areas I'm thinking of covering. What do you think? And you start getting feedback, and then from that feedback, you're probably going to modify your initial course. It's just a great way of. Also, it's a great way of pre-promoting. Most people, as long as you're not selling direct, on somebody else's Facebook group, they probably will allow you to ask those type of questions. And it's just a great way of pre-promotion as well.
A good friend of mine, she creates courses, and she said, she just started creating the courses people are asking her for. She's like, I just got a lot of people asking me about this certain thing, so I just created a course around it. So that was like the easiest. Like, I was just like, oh, well, duh. Like, what is the thing that people ask you the most about? Just create a course around it.
Exactly. And don't make it War and Peace.
Yeah, right? Make it easy. Because I don't think people want, 8-hour courses. Like, if I was buying a course, I would like an hour or 2, maybe 3. Depending on
I think it really depends on the sector. What kind of student are you dealing with? As you build trust, as you roll out more successful courses, you probably have your starter courses, and then as you progress, you have your more intermediate, and then you got the whole area of, as the pricing increases, you normally offer more one-to-one coaching
on the back end.
in the back end, where when it's over $1,000 for a course, there's some element of one-to-one coaching or small group coaching. And technology like Zoom, which we're using now, and other platforms, it's so much easier to offer that group individual coaching or small group coaching than ever before.
That's awesome. I love it. Thank you so much for your time today. And we'll put everything in the description boxes for everybody to find. And thank you. Appreciate it.
It's no problem at all, Jamie. I really enjoyed the interview. Thank you so much for having me on.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening or watching. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, or wherever you prefer to listen. If you learned something and found some useful information to apply to your business today, please consider giving us a thumbs up and a review. Until next week, be abundant.